Thanks for watching the Coriolis Effect. Please hit the subscribe button below, and we hope you like this episode. Good morning, Bob. How are you?
Good morning, Cory. How are you?
I'm doing well. I've missed you over the weekend.
Yes.
Gotten kind of used to us hanging out with you and Irina.
It's been a lot of fun.
I know, right?
Yes.
And this is where you say you missed me, too.
I did say I miss you.
No.
If not, I'll overdub it.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was very good. I am inside all day, so I'm trying to think of what I did. I don't even remember what day today is. I know I was working on the cartoon. I know I was working on this show. And
that's right. You're doing the Prez, which
yeah.
I'm happy to say I have a tiny little part in. I mean, small, but...
You're the roving reporter.
I'm grateful for it. Yeah. I will say this about you, Bob, though. You are a very funny writer.
Why, thank you.
Yeah. You're very talented.
Why, thank you.
Very gifted.
Why, thank you. You gonna scratch your head in front of the camera?
Oh, I don't know. Something's itching me, I don't know.
Okay. Who's on the show today?
Today, actually, I have a very special guest. It's Kevin Montgomery.
Really?
He's a musician, a producer, a writer, a really prolific writer. He wrote his first album, really dating it, in 1993, called Fear Nothing, which happens to
So that was actually on an album, right?
It was on an album, and it's the song Fear Nothing, which is one of my favorite songs of his. And it's kind of a fun story, which I'll talk about in the podcast, how I met him and I auditioned for the role. And it was my very first music video.
Oh, very cool.
So he's very special to me. We've remained friends over, been like 29 years.
Wow.
I know. He lives
Time
in
goes
London
quick.
now. He has a son, a 15-year-old, and he's just continuing on with his music. And he's a powerful person in the music industry. He's worked with a lot of Nashville's greats. His father was, worked with Buddy Holly. And there's just a lot of information we'll go over in the podcast. So I'm very excited about Kevin Montgomery today.
Okay.
And I'll talk a little bit about how we started with a video, and then we did another video where we incorporated that video 25 years later. So
That's good. Give it all away in the beginning.
Okay. Bob, do just adore you. Hi, guys. It's Cory Oliver with the Coriolis Effect. And today I want to talk a little bit about one of our sponsors, flightsport.com. We feel blessed enough to have this company as one of our sponsors. They're a great company. They're faith-based. It's flightsport.com. They have many, many, many supplements. They have t-shirts. They have clothing. But these are some of my favorite products that I've been using for almost a year. I started using them during COVID, and I'm taking them still. This is the Super Greens, which is yummy, Bob. Yummy.
Try it right now.
I'm going to take it right now.
Okay.
You take literally a capful, and it tastes great, and you're getting your daily supplement of greens, and it's so good. Your body craves it, oddly enough. Yes. Like, I drink mine after my meal in the morning, and I feel so good. Wow, you're just getting a ton of stuff. All your reds. Beetroot juice, blueberry extract, papaya, fruit jack, organic raspberry leaf. Raspberry is very good for you.
As are
all of the other things.
Ingredients.
Sour cherry fruit, which is kind of tastes like that. Cranberry, it's good for your kidneys. Cranberry fruit juice. Elderberry, that's excellent for your immune system. Pomegranate. It's just filled. It's packed with a punch, a reds punch. So I can't say enough about this. This will give you a little bit of energy, and you're getting your reds in it. I highly recommend flightsport.com. All in one swoop. I mean, that was took me less than a minute to get all the good stuff.
And that's once a day?
And once a day, yeah. And they've got a lot of different products, so I encourage you to just visit their site and check them out. And they're wonderful people.
And how would they find them?
They're at flightsport.com. I'm tongue-tied, so flightsport.com. Today's episode is brought to you by Aqua 9 Plus All-Natural Ionic Mineral Alkaline Drinking Water. Aqua 9 Plus is one of the first and only all-natural ionic mineral bottled drinking waters in the world. It has one of the highest and most stable pH of any bottled water on the market, with a pH ranging from 9.5 to 10. And I gotta tell you, besides tasting great, high alkaline water has so many positive health benefits. It increases your endurance, it deactivates pepsin in the body, which helps reduce the occurrences of upset stomachs. It neutralizes pesticides and fungicides on produce. It increases oxygen delivery throughout the body, and it helps reduce heartburn and indigestion. When you consider that coffee can have a pH as low as 2, which is very acidic, that pH can be neutralized by using high pH water. And a medical study has suggested that alkaline ionized water may have benefits for people with high blood pressure, diabetes, and high cholesterol. You can go to aquanineplus.com. That's AQUANINEPLUS.com to find the nearest store that sells Aqua9 Plus all-natural ionic mineral alkaline drinking water. They also sell a home water system which produces purified ionic mineral 9.5 plus pH drinking water naturally directly in your home without the use of electricity.
And you
wow,
can also
that's cool.
Yeah, and you can also find filling stations at local grocery stores. If you go to their website, aqua9plus.com, they'll tell you where the nearest filling station is near you. So you go there with a 5-gallon jug or a 2-gallon jug, pay your money, and it fills it up, and it lasts for a couple of weeks.
There's actually one at Air One. There's all the Air Ones. It's a great water. It's really great water. It actually tastes great. We are grateful to have them on the show and supporting us.
Yes.
But I also love their water.
No, their water tastes great. Well, then let's start the show.
Let's start the show. Welcome to the Coriolis Effect. I am Cory Oliver, and I am with a dear friend of mine I've known for, oh my goodness.
How many years?
29 years, really. I was trying to figure it out on the way here. He is a musician, a writer, producer, a dad who is an amazing dad, and dear friend. And I can't say enough about him, and we'll get into more of that as we continue on. But Kevin Montgomery is with me today. That's our clap.
Hey,
yes.
Hey, Cory, how you doing? It's good to see you.
Really well. Oh,
I haven't seen you. Good. I haven't seen you in forever. Like in motion. So it's great to see you.
It's really good to see you too. And I am not going to talk a lot in this episode. I'm going to let you do the talking because I got schooled by my producer. But having said that, I would love for you to tell a story of how we met.
But first.
And what's that?
But first.
Oh, sorry. I have to do the word of the day. We have this word of the day thing going, and it's kind of cool because all of them have a phobia theme. So we're going to ask and see if you know what this word is.
The word is
Magyricophobia.
Magyricophobia.
What is it again?
Magyricophobia.
What is that the fear of? Of what is that the fear?
Magyricophobia. The fear of circles.
I bet you there is one of those, but no, what is it?
It is the fear of cooking.
Oh my God, just kind of like my ex-husband.
Oh my God.
Is the fear of cooking?
Yeah. I'm just kidding, Jonathan. I love you. The fear of cooking.
Funny.
Do you like to cook, Kevin?
I do. Yeah. My favorite meal, my son and I have a favorite meal, and it's when he was a young boy and a soccer player, I told him that broccolini would make him run faster. So I make salmon, right? With broccolini, it's like, kind of al dente, is not really like mushy, and rice noodles with garlic. And that's our favorite meal. Like if you ask him what he wants to eat, it's salmon noodles. And he's not a pizza kid. He's not a junk food kid. He likes stuff like that.
That's a great choice.
That's funny because my mother said liver and onions would help me get girls.
I can't do liver. Cannot do liver.
That must have been my problem because I've been doing the liver and onions all these years.
Yeah. Oh, you have no problem. Well, I'm just really excited that you're here today. And I would love to go over, because we have a story, you and I.
Yeah.
And, you never know how life's going to take you or where life's going to take you when you first meet someone. But we're in this 29 years later, and, I've done a couple music videos with you. And for your songs. And I'd love to just tell the audience, like, how we met.
Okay, so
your version of it, because I want to tell them mine.
Yeah. I'll tell you mine, and then you tell yours, and it'll be totally different. No, I got a record deal with A&M Records when I was 23, and I moved to LA from Nashville. Got a deal with A&M and made a record, and they decided the single was going to be a song called "Red-Blooded American Boy," and so Sheila Manning at Sheila Manning Casting in LA had become a friend before then, because I was doing commercials and acting and stuff like that. So I met her. And then when we were casting the video, I said, "Hey, I want to use Sheila Manning." And so he did. And somehow, by the grace of God, you got called to audition, and we chose you for the video, or Cory for the video, and we did this video, and it came out on CMT. Had about 3 weeks or a month of good rotation on CMT, just enough to where when I went to like Walmart or something like that, I would get recognized, and then I was gone.
Oh, so fast.
So do you want to? So what's your side of the story?
Well, that's pretty much it. Actually, I think
It's like a court. It's like a court. It's court appearance.
Well, no, I think the casting director actually asked me to go home and put on shorts because originally they wanted yes, and so I was like, I couldn't stand my legs, and so I went home and I put on, and God bless you, because I am sure you had the deciding factor. I put on like these really long shorts. They were really lame, and I went back and we danced because in the video we danced together, and so when we danced in the audition,
they wanted the Daisy Duke shorts. Or?
I think so. I think it was because there is a scene in the field that you're running, and I get it. They wanted it to, I get that's just what you do. It wasn't anything bad. It just was. They had a dress code.
I want to go on record to say that it was not at my request.
No. And again, it wasn't a bad thing. It was really a good thing. I understand why they did it because it was part of this scene, right? And so when I went back, I just had these long, really ugly shorts on, and I got it because I just, God always has a plan, and it wasn't about the video or the music. It was then, but it's this lifelong friendship, and I'm just so grateful, to have that.
Yeah.
So I do love Sheila Manning, though. She's great. But I want to talk a little bit.
Is she still around? Because I was thinking about her the other day.
I haven't seen her in a while, so I don't know. I'm not sure what she's doing. I'm sure she's still casting, I think. I'm not sure. Sorry, Sheila. But the story goes on from here because the song, is very dear to me. I love this video. It was great. But then 25 years later, you called me and you said, I'm in town. I just released a new song. Some Comfort is the name of the song, and it's beautiful. And we'll play a little bit of it in this interview.
Yeah.
But you had your friend who was the cameraman, and tell us a little bit about that story.
Well, we had this idea to, I think we became Facebook friends is how it was. Somehow we rediscovered each other on Facebook. And so we had that line of communication. And I said, look, I'm doing this video and we have this idea to meld footage from Red-Blooded American Boy when we were 23, 24 years old, with this new song and kind of try to mimic the scenes from the first video as we had grown up 25 years later. And I think that that's probably the first time that's ever been done by maybe I'd like to think that it was the first time any artist has ever done a video like that, where you have two people young and not old, but older, hey, we were still able to run down the beach in Malibu. That's all. That's all 20. I know. Yeah.
And we had no lighting. Kevin's like, can we do this? By the way, we have no lighting. I was like, dun, dun, dun.
You did a video with no lighting?
I did a video with no lighting. That's how good of friends we are.
It was guerrilla.
You have no idea what a big deal that is.
It was guerrilla. It was filmed guerrilla style. I mean, it was, we had no permits. We won't say that. But it was, I was so pleased that first of all, you agreed to do it. Cause I know that as my star sank, your star has risen. And so I was very, pleased that you agreed to do it. And we just had a great time reconnecting and that's one thing I've done in my career that I can go, man, you know what? That is actually pretty cool.
It was
Dadgummit, if I can say so myself.
And the song is so beautiful. Such a beautiful song. And what's that?
Play a little bit.
I'd love to play the video on the air if we can.
I just want to say this I just want to say this as well. I am a little bit like my guitar. You can see my guitar right here. It's a little old and grizzled. It's got that little, thing, a lot of road dings. You, on the other hand, are you actually look better than you. I don't know how you've done it, but you actually are more beautiful now than you were back then when you were 23 years old or whatever.
You're so sweet. Thank you. You're too kind.
I'll give you the I'll give you the $20 later.
Okay, thanks. You can Venmo me it. Sorry, I had to say that for my daughter's sake, but I don't even have a Venmo. Couldn't use it if I tried.
Do you like my coffee cup? It's me and my boy.
Oh, yes, I do. That's beautiful. Cool? Yes. Yeah. Kevin Montgomery, you are amazing. So tell us a little bit about you have a history, and your family has a history in this industry, in the music industry. Your dad, Bob Montgomery, has worked with some of the greats, Buddy Holly, and tell us about that. And you mentioned it in your bio. Most of your time was spent in the studio, and you have great memories. Can you share any of those with us today?
Yeah. So my dad met Buddy Holly when they were 11 years old. He had moved to Lubbock recently, and they learned how to play guitar together and write songs together. And they had a duo called Buddy and Bob. They had a radio show when they were like 14 years old. That and they had their own duo, and they'd go around and play gigs at opening up gas stations and grocery stores and stuff like that. And so they had that duo, and then Buddy went off and did his thing. But Dad wrote many of those Buddy Holly songs. I was told by Tommy Alsop, I've never counted this, but Tommy Alsop, who was a guitar player for Buddy and flipped the coin when Buddy passed, and didn't go on the plane. He said that there's 26 Buddy Holly songs, and Dad wrote 13 of them, or was a writer on 13 of them. So he had that history. And then my mom and dad got married when she was 17 and he was 20. They moved to Clovis, New Mexico. Dad worked with Norman Petty at Norman Petty Studios. Norman Petty was Buddy Holly's producer.
What I love about their story, though, is that they were pen pals, right? Your mom and dad. They wrote to each other for several years.
Yep, they had met at a grocery store in, I think, maybe Albuquerque. No, it was Lubbock, where Dad was working with my mom's sister's future husband. They worked together, and so my mom came into the store, and they saw each other and liked each other, and then they started writing back and forth, and then they ended up getting married at a very young age and moved to Clovis. And my mom told me recently, I'm doing a documentary about my dad, and she told me recently that they got married on a Thursday so that they could be in Nashville on a Saturday night for the Grand Ole Opry.
Wow.
That's all they wanted to do. They wanted to get married and get there and go to the Grand Ole Opry because they were just, loving Nashville. And so they got married, moved to Clovis for a couple of years. He was understudy under Norman Petty, and Norman Petty was Buddy's producer and was very, he was in the middle of nowhere, really, in Clovis, New Mexico, but he had this state-of-the-art studio, and he had become like a master engineer and producer. And so Dad learned from him, and then they moved to Nashville in I want to say 59, just right after Buddy passed away in 59. They moved a few months later to Nashville. And so they moved to Madison, Tennessee, which is like a community of Nashville. Patsy Cline was our next door neighbor. So he wrote Heartbeat, Wishing, Love's Blunt, Made a Fool of You for Buddy, and a bunch of other songs. And then once they moved to Nashville, he was a TV repairman for about 6 or 7 years. And at night, he would write songs in our basement. And one night, he wrote a song in our basement called Back in Baby's Arms. And he went and played it for our next door neighbor. And she just happened to be Patsy Cline.
That's a great story.
So he also wrote Misty Blue by Dorothy Moore in that basement, and then went on to become a producer and publisher and publish Wind Beneath My Wings and stuff like that. My mom, she sang on Elvis's Suspicious Minds, In the Ghetto, Kentucky Rain. I was looking at her discography yesterday because somebody put something on Facebook about it, and she sang with Jimmy Buffett on some of those records. She sang on Bob Dylan's Nashville Skyline. She sang with Dolly Parton. And I think I was actually in her belly when she did the Elvis session. So I was there.
Wow. You got a little Elvis juice going on. That's pretty cool. Well, I mean, so you were just destined to become a musician and an artist.
I don't know if I believe in that necessarily, but I really wanted to. I grew up idolizing the songwriters that I was around. Dad at one point had a company called House of Gold Publishing, and he had 33 songwriters that wrote for him. And I hung out with them. That's who I wanted to be. These people that you would never know. No one ever knows their name, but they wrote songs like Wind Beneath My Wings and songs like that. And the guy who wrote Wind Beneath My Wings, here's a good story for you. The guy who wrote Wind Beneath My Wings, there's two guys, Larry Henley and Jeff Silbar. Jeff Silbar was the tape copy guy at Dad's publishing company. And they wrote this song. They brought it to my dad in his office, and they played 2 songs for him. And my dad saw the third song, the title, and he liked the title, and he said, "What's this song?" And they said, "Oh, it's a piece of, whatever. You don't want to hear it." And he said, "Oh, yeah, I want to hear it." They said, "No, we don't like it. We don't want to play it for you." And he said, "Play me the song." And they played the song. And he said, "Look, this is not, it was kind of upbeat." And he said, "Go upstairs and redemo it, as a ballad." And that song was Wind Beneath My Wings.
Wow.
They didn't like it. They were ready. It was going to hit the cutting room floor, and it would have, that song has been recorded by probably more people than any other song. And I saw the book at Warner Chapel, and it was like that thick of the people that have recorded that song. They never had to work again. Those 2 writers never had to work again a day in their life, but it almost ended up on the cutting room floor.
Wow. That is a great story. Well,
but I wanted to be them. I wanted to write songs. That's what I wanted to do. And that's who influenced me.
Well, that's one of the things that I love about your music is that you know how to tell a story, and you take, a lot of your own pain, right? And that's what we do as artists, and we turn it into our purpose. And you've done that so beautifully in all of your songs. But to name one in particular, you had that was cut by someone, and kind of like your history repeats itself, right? I think Martina McBride cut a song of yours. I'm using the word "cut." It's so dated, but I guess remade.
No, I still say cut a song.
A song, which is a beautiful song, and I love it. It's called "I Won't Close My Eyes."
Yeah.
Tell me how that happened. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, I guess it happened. I was thinking about it the other day. I was because I'm starting to do interviews like this on my Facebook page, and I have ambitions to start a podcast, and I'm going to pick your brain later on how to do that. But
I know a great studio.
I think I should be your first guest. Maybe I don't know. I'm just saying.
I love it. I love it.
Kidding.
Well, I had Carlene Carter the other night. It was amazing.
I saw that.
June Carter Cash and Johnny Cash, and she was amazing. And I love talking to people. And one of the things that I'm intrigued by is when people go through low points and tribulations, and then they kind of come through it. And so that was kind of where, at a low point in my life, I'd asked out of my deals with A&M and Warner Chappell, and I just went back to Nashville. They wanted me to do a record for Nashville's wing of A&M, and Harold Shedd was the guy running it at the time. And I think I may have met him a couple of times, but I never even bothered to go in and have a meeting with him. And I just asked out of all because I didn't think he would get what I was doing. And it was really stupid of me not to do, but I just assumed. I made an assumption, and I asked out of my deals, ended up back in Nashville pushing carts in the parking lot of Sam's, right? So I was out there one day, and a producer called Paul Worley, he was actually my publisher when I was with Sony Tree, when I got my record deal. He came walking through the parking lot, my office. And I said,
my office.
He said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "Well, I'm just working. What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm about to produce the new Martina McBride record, and we're, just getting ready to do that." And I said, "Well, I want to play you a song." And he said, "Okay." So a couple of weeks later, I went to his offices there at Sony Records that were slightly more opulent than mine. And I played him the parking lot. Yes. And I played him I Won't Close My Eyes. And about 3 weeks later, I was driving down 440 in Nashville, which is a major highway. And the traffic came to a standstill. And I got a call from a lady, Paul Worley's assistant, called Tammy Brown, who has since passed away, God rest her soul, one of my favorite people. But she called and said, "Hey, Kevin." And I was like, "Hey, how's it going, Tammy?" And she goes, "Hey, just want to let you know that Paul has recorded I Won't Close My Eyes on Martina's record." And I was like, "You're kidding." I literally got out. I just got chills. I literally got out of the car on the freeway and stopped traffic and like danced around the car and then got back in.
That's such a cool moment.
People probably thought I was crazy,
No, but like it really is kind of history repeating itself. I mean, Martina didn't live next door to you, but the same kind of thing happened to your dad too, just going next door to Patsy Cline. So it's kind of generational, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I love that story.
It's God's winks.
Yes.
Yeah. I was listening. I'm preparing to interview my friend, one of my dad's best friends, and one of the last living mavericks of the music industry, a guy named Jerry Fuller. And I think I may have introduced you to Jerry. Maybe I may have taken you to Jerry and Annette's house, maybe at one point. So, yes, but anyway,
yes.
Yeah. But they're like my second parents. When I lived in LA, I probably spent 3 or 4 nights a week at their house. And he wrote, "I'm a traveling man, I travel around," by Ricky Nelson. He wrote "Show and Tell, Just a Game." He wrote "Young Girl, Get Out of My Mind, You're Much Too Young and I'm Way Out of Line," and produced all that stuff, produced Johnny Mathis. And so I was educating myself further on him today. And this isn't my story, this is his story, but it's awesome. He wrote Traveling Man, and he took it to a guy that he wanted. It was like an R&B guy to sing it, like somebody like Otis Redding. No, Sam Cooke. He wanted Sam Cooke he wrote it for Sam Cooke, took it to his producer's office, played it for him, and then, he left. And then he said, or he just dropped it off. He said the bass player, Joe Osborne, who played with Ricky Nelson, heard the song through the walls and then walked in and said, "Hey man, what's that song you just played?" And he goes, "Oh, that's Traveling Man. Jerry Fuller wrote it." And he goes, "Man, I'd really like to hear. I'd like to take that to Ricky Nelson." And the guy reached into the trash, No way. pulled out the reel and handed it to him. So he had already thrown it away. Yeah, he'd already thrown it in the trash. And so anyway, Ricky Nelson recorded it. It sold 6 million copies. And again,
I'm telling you, I always say this almost every one of my shows. You just don't know what is around the corner. Sorry about that. You just don't know what God has for you. And, we can be at our lowest moments, really, truly in life. And then, you reach into the trash and you pull out, the golden nugget, right? And it literally, it's a God wink. It's a gift. It's a blessing. And so I always try to, tell people to just stay positive and try to look at, what might be tomorrow or the next day or what's around the corner. And I've certainly had those moments in my life.
I know. I was watching an interview earlier that you did where you're talking about when, you were praying for a show to come along and you said, if it doesn't happen in 3 days, then take the desire away. And, it's just interesting, these things that happen. And I do believe we've talked in the past about God and that kind of stuff. And, I'm becoming more, I guess, religious. I mean, I grew up in Church of Christ, going to Church of Christ and singing. That's where I learned how to sing, really, probably because I was singing along with my mom. But, I don't know, man. I just,
maybe it's more of just a relationship, even not even religious. It's like just that relationship now. And maybe you can understand, you can attest to this too. Having a child helped me establish more of a relationship with God. That, that parent, child relationship.
Absolutely.
I have so much I want to talk to you about today. I have to get this in there because I'm just so excited to have you. You live in London now, correct? So there's a little bit of.
I live near Windsor.
Windsor. Oh, and you've not gotten the accent yet, have you?
No.
Is that terrible?
No.
Bob's going, He's like cringing.
No, but the Queen's tried to run over me twice.
Are you serious?
Yeah, once for sure. She was driving and I put it up on YouTube. I had like 400,000 views, but I was getting so much abuse from people because they were like, she would never drive herself. And I'm like, she's the Queen. She can do anything she wants. I have it on film. She drove.
Oh, she was driving
about a foot. She was driving. I was filming the castle and nobody's supposed to be on the path. It's called the Long Walk that goes into one of the main gates of the castle. And no cars are ever on there. It's just families walking, dogs and everything. And I felt something kind of behind me and I spun around with the camera. And as I did, she drove about 1.5 feet from me on the path. And it was the Queen.
You see that commenter? I'm going to run him over.
Yeah, right.
She was in a green Jaguar, like a dark green Jaguar. And she was driving and she had one older man with her. And it wasn't Prince Philip.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
But
I'm sure it was her bodyguard, but truly she didn't know that she was just about to hit Kevin Montgomery.
Wait, when was this?
I mean, come on.
This was like 12 years ago. But
so she was 80?
Yeah. But
we love you, Queen.
I took it off YouTube because I was getting so much abuse from like mainly English people saying that I was full of it and that it didn't it never happened.
They have to control everything that goes out of there, which I understand. So that's probably why more so. But I love you, Kevin, because I've actually had the privilege of seeing you in person perform, and you are hilarious. Like while I'm at your shows, I'm thinking, okay, he could be a comedian too, because you really are funny. You had me and my friends cracking up, and you're so kind to reach out and say, hey, I'm in Oxnard. And I'm like, what? You're in Oxnard? And then I come out and watch you play in Oxnard. But you're very funny, and you're just an amazing entertainer. And I wanted to know, it's hard. I've talked to a few musicians right now during this whole quarantine and COVID thing, and I'm kind of switching gears a little bit. But it's hard to sit and do nothing for an entertainer, correct? And how have you kind of taken that energy? I know I read a little bit about what you've been doing during COVID and quarantine, and you really do look fantastic. You do.
Thank you.
And a lot of that you've been really conscious, body conscious, and what you've changed your whole diet and routine during this COVID. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I got back from America in October of 2019. I was there for work for a couple of months, and contrary to what people say or like to think, English food is actually very. I mean, it's 7% genetically modified as opposed to 80% genetically modified in the U.S. Those are figures I've heard.
Yes,
and so I find that the portions are bigger in America, and it's just harder to eat healthily. I have to quit saying it's harder for me to eat healthy in America. I really have to make a conscious effort to do it. But I got back, and occasionally I'd catch like a side kind of shot as I was walking out, like the window outside Starbucks, and he'd be like, "Wow, look at that old guy with a pot belly," And
then you're like, oh,
that's me. That's how I look. Or like someone snaps a shot of you and they send it to you thinking you're going to be like, "Oh, wow, look, that's me on stage." And you're like, "Oh, wow, that's me on stage. And I look like I'm 5 months pregnant." So I started walking first, and I started walking 3 to 7 miles a day with my dog around the race course, the Ascot race course. And then I while I was walking, I was listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and I can't remember her name. She's a female doctor called Patrick something. I can't remember her name, but she was talking about the gut biome.
Yes.
And fasting and the effects that fasting have on the gut biome and all these different, so I started drinking kefir, and I decided, okay, I'm going to get my gut right, and I'm going to exercise. And I think like most artists or artistes, I tend to be on the depressive side, and my personal feelings about that is I will never take a pill or try to artificially, deal with that. And so I had an epiphany. I'm like, I gotta get in shape, and I'm going to exercise. And that really helped my mood, and, my body started changing, and then I joined the gym. Started building up very slowly. And then in January of 2020, I did boot camp for the whole month. And, it was like, I got my body fat down to 12.6.
Yeah, you look great.
You
do. One of the things you said though, and just to go into this for a minute, because it hit me like a ton of bricks when I read it in one of our, communications.
Yeah.
You walk and you listen to podcasts, and you said garbage in equals garbage out. And that is so true.
Yeah.
You really are what you read and you look at and you meditate on and you focus on. That was
100%, which is why I started listening to podcasts or sometimes in the morning I'll go on YouTube, and there's I've somehow I've found this thing called Motiversity. So when I would wake up at 5:20, come down, get a black coffee, get my water, get my clothes on for the gym, get in the truck, and I call it a truck. It's a van, but I call it a truck because I'm American and whatever. They call it a van over here. It's 4-wheel drive. It's really cool. 1996. You'd love it. I can go anywhere. Go through rivers, mountains, snow. But anyway, I would listen on the way. I'd listen to Motiversity, and it's just people talking about their struggles and how they overcame them, and just really
Is
wisdom.
this before or after you're listening to the Coriolis effect?
Well, I mean, that's why I love what Cory's doing, because I can see that she's, tapping into that same kind of energy in her own way. And we need all those voices. I mean, different voices saying positive things. I mean, what was remember the Japanese scientist that took water?
Yes. I use that all the time. And they spoke to the water, and the water that they spoke to grew beautiful lily pads. And
so like he would yell things at the water and say nasty things to the water, and the molecules would go into weird shapes. And then he would say soothing, nice things to the water, and the molecule, would like go into these beautiful snowflake shapes. So it's like,
Is it mood water?
I don't know.
So
yeah.
Well, it's like I saw the social. Is it the social experiment?
Yes,
the social dilemma. The social dilemma.
Sorry.
Yeah, and they were talking about how Facebook feeds you stuff. If they find out, hey, you want to watch, people beating the, what out of each other, they're going to just send you fight video after fight video. But because they know that's what it's going to keep your eyes on the screen. But you watch that, and you're taking that energy inside you, and you're taking those thoughts and that energy inside you. But if you listen to something positive, you're gonna be better off.
Well, I really feel that to that point, God can really use you, as we know, when you're not held in captivity, whether it's mental, spiritual, physical. He can really use you when you're not held in that moment of captivity. And believe me, I've been in, and I'll refer to, you called it when you auditioned, the fetal position, where you're just crippled and you're crying for whatever heartbreak you're going through, whether it's you lost a $150,000 audition that you went through, right?
Oh, I know,
or you lost your husband. In any way, whatever that is, when we're there, we can't fulfill his plan and his purpose. But when we can pull ourselves out, and sometimes you're right, maybe sometimes it might be your song for someone, and I'll tell you, segueing into that, one of my favorite songs of yours, and I've listened to all of them over and over and over again. I still have your CD, the Fear Nothing CD. It's probably the only one that survived all my moves. But the song for me is God. It's like God speaking to me at those times where, yes, you are something, fear nothing. Yeah. He is that for me. And so, there are those moments in life where you have something to cling to, something positive, something prolific that you wrote, or another artist, where you just, it really pulls you out of that,
Well, you're right. And it's easy to get away from that. Like last year I got not stuck in the news cycle, but it's like, I found myself really consuming a lot of news, and it's just, what I was like, I got to get away from this. And so I started listening to like 80s hair bands that I was listening to. Was like, when I was like really, first like starting a band and all that kind of stuff, I was like, I want to hear some Rat, Round and Round. Yes. I want to hear some,
Black and Blue.
Yeah, exactly. Rainbow, I want to hear.
Bob is a hair band guy. He actually does. He does. He's a musician on the side, and he does cover songs a lot. So his band travels all over the place.
My hair was Bob. My hair was about as long as Cory's when I was in high school. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I was like in fact, my bass player in my band is Scott Borchetta, who is Big Machine, who, has the record label Big Machine. And he's a big Kiss fan. I think he hides it pretty well, but he, he was like all spandexed out, man. We were doing the hard rock, heavy metal right there in Nashville,
But to your point, when you turn on those songs, like I can turn on Van Halen and take myself back to my high school days, and I'm like,
totally,
where you were carefree and you didn't have any worries.
Yes,
and it helped pull yourself out of where you were, right?
Yeah. I started listening to Van Halen. I mean, I love David Lee Roth. I think he's like the male version of Dolly Parton in terms of intellect.
That band died when they lost him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Sammy had a couple of good songs, but I think somebody told me that each and every one of the albums with David Lee Roth sold more than the collective albums with Sammy or anybody else. Just, Diver Down, all those albums, 1984, all those albums are just amazing.
He's just brilliant. He really is a brilliant guy. And an interview, and you know what? I loved the Joe Rogan podcast. Again, he interviewed David Lee Roth. If you haven't seen it, again, I don't know if you know this, but David Lee Roth he got trained as a paramedic, and he started working as a paramedic in New York City, like in the past 10 years, and like people be like, "Oh my God, you're David Lee Roth, aren't you?" And he'd be like, "Yeah."
Why does my paramedic not have any? Why is he in buttless chaps?
Yeah, why is he wearing leopard skin spandex and screaming and jumping around and doing the splits?
I love that. He reinvented himself and he's doing something to give back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's what I see. It's like you see so many rock stars like that when their star starts to fade, they fall apart. And he's gone to Japan and lived and trained, in martial arts. And then he's gone to New York and been a paramedic. And I just think that's amazing,
That is pretty cool. That is cool. You have toured with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Right? And one of them is Sheryl Crow. Wow. I'm a huge fan of hers. Yes. So am I. What's that?
So am I.
Bob just
songs
lit
are
up.
amazing.
He's
yeah.
like, whoa.
Sheryl Crow,
Crosby,
right.
Stills, and Nash. You've toured with. I mean, you're Kevin Montgomery. Of course, you've toured with a lot of the greats. You're one of them. Tell us what that was like.
Well, David Crosby was an interesting one because I did a show with him at La Zona Rosa, which I don't even know if it's still there in Austin. And we were sharing a dressing room. And after the show, after I played, he said, "So are you going to go on the rest of the tour with me?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I don't know what it is." And he got up, went to the payphone because it was like right before it, this is like 94,
1867.
Yeah, so like you either carried one of those big gigantic white things that you held out to here and with the big huge antenna. And he called his manager and right in front of me, and he said, "Hey, I want you to knock off all the opening acts on the tour because I want this kid to come on the tour with me." And that was it. I went on a whole tour with him, and
so your face is on a dartboard of like 50 other opening bands whose spot you took.
Oh yeah, I'm convinced
that Kevin took our limelight.
The energy that I created from that moment really destroyed a part of my life for about 10 years after. But no,
I don't think so.
But yeah, he was awesome. He was on the backside of he'd been to prison and a lot of people have said, "Oh, he's kind of difficult," and he was wonderful. He was great to me. He was awesome. I really, really have a lot of love for David Crosby.
Well, I have a lot of love for you, Mister. I know you have your guitar there, and I've been staring at you going, I'm not used to talking with you this much. I'm used to just watching you and hearing your songs and going through this journey. And so I'd love it if you could play something for us today.
Yeah.
That you have the 100% rights to, and we don't get in trouble for putting on the air.
Yeah, originally I asked if you could play Fear Nothing, but I wasn't sure if we could air that, but that is one of my favorites.
Just play it 5 keys down, and the audio waves won't
match. Some Comfort is beautiful too. That's the video that he and I.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Some Comfort.
Okay, Some Comfort by Kevin Montgomery.
Okay, that's close enough for rock and roll. Okay, 1, 2. I'll give you a count in. How about that? 1, 2, 3, 4. All the
times I've known you, you made me wanna be a better man. I'd look into your eyes, no words that pass between us you'd understand. And that's some comfort. That's what I want. You spend your whole life working, running round in circles like a mother will. You say that when I hold you, it's the only time your soul feels like it's still. And that's some comfort. That's what I want. And that's some comfort. That's what I want. Every day is precious. I can feel the days taking flight. For you I'm thankful, for I know that I was truly loved in this life. And that's some comfort. It's what I want. And that's some comfort. That's what you want.
Wowee. You know what? I think I might just clip that and make a TikTok video. And you know how they do that? And then you can sing along with it? That song just gives me chills, Kevin. Honestly, when you first sent that to me and said, you know, let's do this music video, I was sobbing because I can identify. You spend your time in circles like a mother would, right? Like you can identify with those lyrics, and you just orchestrated them beautifully. So thank you for playing that. That was beautiful. That was like you just played it off the record, right? I mean, it just sounded fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. Hey, Bob, I was concerned about the pops that were happening. Are you going to be able to work with that? Is that going to be okay?
I'll sound design it. Yeah, I'll take the pops out.
Okay, cool.
I didn't hear anything. I was just blown away.
There was just
when you're in the biz, you hear things like that.
When you're a professional?
Yeah, a little bit of that when I was going, you know.
Oh gosh, Kevin, you were
the trained ear or
you're
Cory
amazing. I'm
But
sorry.
I do have a foam thing I can put up on it. If you want me to cover it and then do it again, I will.
No, that's all right.
I think it was beautiful.
I have a deplosive. RX-7 makes a pretty good deplosive.
Wow.
But I can also go in there and individually take the pops out.
Okay, cool. I know I've seen guys like you work, and you're amazing.
He's amazing. He really is amazing. He's a genius.
Oh, I wouldn't say genius. Hey, you said it.
That's a joke we have in this office.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about switching gears in regards to your music. I love what you're doing because you're doing this fun thing that you can incorporate your fans, and you have a lot of them. And you're doing a crowdfunding for your next record. And tell us how that works and how you're doing it and how we can get involved.
Well, the last record, Some Comfort, was crowdfunded, and it's right here. That's it right there. Blah, blah,
I
blah.
have that.
And it's on iTunes and all that stuff. But so my fans contributed and we made the record. And I feel like this record is Fear Nothing. We spent $240,000 to make Fear Nothing, or A&M Records did. And this record right here, it's like, I can't remember how much it was, like $16,000 or something like that. And I feel like it's the best record I ever did. And even though it was a lot cheaper to make, it's a very special record to me. And this new collection of songs, and also it was a breakthrough for me because I wrote the songs in the studio on the day. So I had half of Some Comfort written when I got on the plane from London to Dallas and then to Nashville. And I had 3 weeks block booked in the studio to record, and I had no songs. So I literally wrote the songs on the day. And creatively, I think, it was a real breakthrough creatively for me because even during the Fear Nothing days, my dad was an incredible songwriter. And if you talk to people in Nashville that are in the know, they'll tell you that he was the best publisher, song man in Nashville to ever hit Nashville. He knew a hit song. And I think growing up in that, there was times when I maybe got writer's block because I didn't want to be judged. So I'd write like half a song and then I would have the bridge that I wouldn't write for like 5 years, because as long as it was unfinished, it was like my little thing that I was working on. You know what I'm saying? But if I didn't finish the bridge, then I wouldn't be judged. And I would process it like, well, I've got to get inspired for the bridge before I can write the bridge. Now, some of that was true, but not all of that was true. It was a writer's block. And so when I got on the plane and I got to Nashville, in fact, do you want me to play a song I wrote at about 10 o'clock at night in the bathroom of the studio, and then we recorded it?
Sure.
You want to hear that one?
Yes.
Do we have time?
Yes. Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Robert Hazard. He was by Cyndi Lauper sung it. He was a Philadelphia musician. He wrote that song in 8 minutes in the bathtub.
I love that.
That's funny.
Love these stories.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see if I can do it now. So this song I wrote in, I don't know, half an hour. I went into the bathroom of the studio, sat on the toilet. The top was down, don't worry. And wrote this. And then what I would do is I have so many great musician friends. I'd call them into the studio and say, hey man, I'm ready. Can you guys be here in like half an hour and we're going to record? And we recorded it. And I'll play it for you now.
You take me back to your place. It's been a good day. The sun on our faces, the sun shines. Yeah, the sun shines. The sun sinks low. I wanted to go, 'cause I know when it's gone, it won't be long till you're sleeping. And I can feel your breathing. And you're here with me, where you're supposed to be. And I can feel the heat from from your Santa Monica tan. Spin around on the carousel, I take your picture a moment in time, and you were smiling. Yeah, you were smiling. A candle burns, catching us in silhouette on your wall. We're in motion. Yeah, we're in motion. And you're here with me, where you're supposed to be, and I can feel the heat from your Santa Monica tan. Yeah, I can feel the heat from your Santa Monica tan. From your Santa Monica tan. From your Santa Monica tan.
Love it. That's our clap, Kevin.
Yeah, so I've got this whole collection of songs. I'm getting ready. You know, I've got about 7 or 8 songs written for the record called "Good Thing." And
I'm just wondering. I know I say this to you all the time throughout our 29
You need
year.
a backup singer.
Randy. He said, "Do you need a backup singer?"
hey, we can make another video. We can make another video.
I'm down.
Don't you have to wait 20 more years?
But the only way I'm going to say this, Kevin, right here, right now.
Yeah.
The only way I'm going to do another video is if the song is influenced by me.
Well, I was thinking about that earlier.
I know, I keep saying this to you. All of these years,
Why don't you ever write me a song?
Yeah, I do. It's so lame, huh? Okay, never mind. Just write. You do you.
That's the wife of every musician. How come you don't write songs about me? Oh, you know the song Everybody Died? That was about you.
Can I tell you a slightly funny story?
Yes.
It's a slightly funny story. So
Okay.
I'm not going to name any names, but I was going out with this girl. And at the time, I was managing the valet service. This is after the whole A&M thing, right?
Yeah,
and this is like
star.
I was about to sign a new deal with Decca, and then this is before I started coming to the UK and touring and found my whole audience over here that totally changed my life. But I was the manager of the valet service at Centennial Hospital, and I had like 5 guys that ran with me, and they're all great. Jubal Young, who was Steve Young's son, who was he wrote Seven Bridges Road by the Eagles, was one of my buddies that worked with me, and so you know we just had this fun collection of guys, and I was walking. This guy named Danny Basehart was there, and he's an unbelievable songwriter. And my girlfriend at the time had come to lunch, and we'd gone to lunch, and we were walking through the parking lot. Why am I in the parking lot again? You know, I end up in the parking lots a lot. Yeah. We were walking to the parking lot, and Danny had just like parked the car, and he was like walking along with us back to like our booth and office. And she goes, and I'm going to do kind of a horrible voice because she was kind of mean, but I thought I could change her. Okay.
Oh,
I thought I could change
pegging
her.
a round hole. I gotcha.
Yeah. But she goes, Kevin, when are you going to write a song for me? And I was like, I just went, no, I so she goes, Kevin, when are you going to write a song for me? And I was like, when we break up. And Danny Basehart, who I'm sure I'd been telling stories about what a pain in the butt she was already, like while we're working, how's it going? Well, whatever's being and whatever. And he literally fell down on the pavement of the parking structure and was rolling around on the ground. Oh, and she didn't appreciate it too much, but it was true. And she never got a song. So I was thinking about you earlier, and I was thinking, you know what? I should write a song for Cory, but
it can't be under pressure. It just can't be under pressure. So I retract my statement.
I don't want you to do it because I asked you to do it. I want you to do it because you want to do it.
I know, but I was thinking about it. I was thinking about like Cory. Your name. I gotta. Do you have a nickname that I could work with?
Well, my nickname's Coco.
So is Conan O'Brien.
That's better.
Coco,
baby.
I like.
All right, so here's the idea. Here's the idea for your next video. You write a song about a man and a woman, or a boy and a girl in their 17, 18-year-old, and you do the whole video, and at the end, you and Cory come in as the parents 20 years later, as the third in their series of
30 years later, because this will be our third video in almost 30 years.
The gap between the first two was 20 years.
Yes, and that we shot that almost 10 years ago, 25 years ago. Yeah, 25 years. Yeah. I mean, this is
gonna be like
so we just have you as the parents with your
Look at Kane.
The Zimmer frame,
or
you look the
Zimmer
same.
frame.
Cory's daughter meets your son, and then they fall in love, and you guys are in the background, and then you guys meet. Yeah, come on, we can make a movie.
No, that's a good idea. But
we only knew an actress.
One of the reasons why I'm working out now is just so I can physically dominate my son. He's like 16, he's like almost 16. He's 15, almost 16. And like, he's getting really strong. And like on the lockdown, I bought some, pull-up bars. And so they're right there in the doorway, and I bought weights and everything. And he's like, every time he goes in and out of his room in there where his gaming stuff is, he does like 5 pull-ups. Like he has to do 5 pull-ups. So he's like a chimpanzee. They have the strength of 7 humans, they say. He's like, I'm not getting him a tree because
it's coming quick. He's going to surpass you, and you won't see it when it happens, but there'll be a day when you push and he pushes back and you go down.
So yeah, all this stuff about my motivation of like, yes, I garbage in and garbage out, and I try to be positive. And it's really just so I can beat up my own son still, continue to.
Well, let me interject and preface that by saying, and and I talked earlier, and Kevin is literally one of the best dads. When this child was born, he took to this child, and I've watched it over the years. It's beautiful, but he would never beat up his son. He actually, it's funny because you referred to him. You referred to the playfulness as from the Peter Sellers movies, when Cato and Peter Sellers would always joke around, and they would like jump out of nowhere and have fun, and that's what you do with your son, and I think that's beautiful because it's something he'll always remember.
Anytime without warning, try to kill me whenever you can.
Yeah,
it is like I'm not kidding you. It's like the Pink Panther with Cato. I mean, as soon as he comes in from school, like sometimes I go up the road. And there's where we get our haircut is like on our street. And I'll go in there and I'll be like, hey, I'm just here because Bo's about to walk past from school. And I'll hide behind the hedge and I'll attack him as he's coming down the road. And then I'm like, dude, you had no situational awareness. That's our word.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's our word. I'm like, you have 0 situational awareness. I totally could have had you right there.
Oh
He's like,
gosh,
Dad, I'm just trying to walk home from school. Yeah.
That's so great. Well, I was kidding when I said I wouldn't do another video if it was just about me. Whatever anytime, any place, I'll have Bob bring the lighting, and we will shoot a video.
Okay, that's an 18-wheeler just
right
for
here.
the lighting. Oh God.
Okay,
the funniest thing you've ever said.
Do you want to hear a little bit of a new one that could be the video? Check it out.
Sure.
I'm gonna play a little bit for you.
Okay.
This is a good thing. So if anybody wants to contribute to the the crowdfunding thing, I guess go to my website. I'll put a link up there on the website. And and I'm on Twitter, at Kevin Montgomery, Instagram, Kev Montgomery 615, and then my website, kevinmontgomery.com. But let me play Good Thing from the new record. I'm alive. Shoot, hold on. Oh, there we go. Let me play a Good Thing from the new record. I'm a liar when I say to you I can walk away, never look back. I'm a dyer. Might take a little while between now and then. Got a lot of living to do. Come on, baby, it's true. There's just some things that you understand. You turned to me, you said, I like your band. And I was thinking, oh my Lord, we got a good thing. We talked all night, we watched the sunrise. We got so tired, we laughed until we cried. And I was thinking, oh my Lord, we got a good thing. I'm a fighter. Check this out. Good love ain't always easy, 'cause I'm a beer, you're a Chardonnay, but I'm a lifer. Yeah, we could end up stranded on the side of the road. We'd be okay. Come on, baby, it's true. There's just some things that I don't understand. You turned this rocker to a wedding band, but I was thinking, oh my Lord, we got a good thing. I'm gonna skip to the ending. Good thing. Good thing. Good thing. Good thing. I messed up.
Wow, Kevin, I love that. We do have a good thing. That's really good. I love that song. I love it. That's great.
Yeah. Man, that's the second chorus. You turn this rocker into a wedding band.
It's great. That's so great. I love it.
You know, if he writes a song about you, he has to break up with you.
That's true. Well, you can't break up with a friend. You can't break up with a friend. But who doesn't want to be serenaded on a Tuesday from their very good friend who's just happens to be an incredible musician?
Can you bleep out my damn it, or do I need to?
Yeah, I didn't hear it. But Bob will do that. Yes, he's very good.
Will he?
I don't know. He's really
at the end of the
annoyed
song
with me today. I don't know why.
I'm sorry I'm sorry. I kind of cursed.
No,
it's
that's
okay.
all right.
You're fine.
Usually you're Cory.
Well, I know we're taking up all of your time here, and it's late there in London. So I want to say thank you first and foremost. We do have 3 questions that we like to. Have 3 things we like to do. We ask you a couple more questions, and then we do the Rorschach test. It's like the inkblot test with everybody.
You almost got it that time.
I did?
Yeah.
I know. I'm really bad at that, saying that. Rorschach.
Rorschach.
Yes, but I can't thank you enough. But let's do this first, because I'm told not to end until after I do this. I could talk to you all day, Kevin. I haven't seen you in so long. And by the way, you look great. And honestly, your hair is still as thick as the days that I met you. I don't understand. Is there like a gene in your family that's like, it's like this beautiful mane of hair? You look the same. It's just your hair's lighter.
Well, lighter. That's a nice way of saying.
You look, men, you know what they say, women get wrinkles and men get character lines, but you don't have any lines. You just look great. And it's so good to see you. I can't tell you, really truly is. You warm my heart. And I've always been blessed by you in my life and by your music in my life. And I thank you. Well,
I think you're a wonderful woman, and I love what your podcast that you have going on, and we could talk. I could interview you. Maybe I'll have you on my podcast sometime.
I love it, and I have a little something that I can share with you on that, so that might be fun. But I would like to know.
We have an OCD order we go in.
Yes. So so Kevin,
Hit the desk
we do
one
this.
More time.
Kevin, we do this on every show, and I'd love to know how you describe yourself in 3 words.
All right. Goateed, furry back, and hairy chicken legs. Which
That's awesome.
Isn't really 3 words, but it's 3 concepts.
It's 3 concepts hyphenated, like you said. So we'll take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're hilarious. You're hilarious. So we're gonna do the Rorschach test. I got it.
Rorschach?
Yeah,
Rorschach test.
Yeah, the Rorschach.
Oh my God!
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm gonna hold up a picture, an ink blot, and you're gonna tell me what you see. Everybody's done this. We'll probably do a whole show on this at some point.
All right.
And so just immediately, what do you see?
2 people facing each other. 2 witches actually facing each other. They're arguing. Yeah.
Okay.
What are they arguing about?
Music.
No. He was answering the first
I thought they were arguing. You saw music.
Oh, that's like sort of like a jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, it's like a jack-o'-lantern with wings. Oh, isn't that sweet? That's 2 like pandas, putting they're in prison, and one of them has gotten in a lot of trouble, and the other one has gone to see his panda bear person that got thrown in jail.
Oh, with the glass between them?
Yeah, the glass between them, and they're touching hands in the glass, and it's really sweet.
That's a songwriter right there. I'll tell you. That's a story.
That is a self-portrait of a javelina wild boar in Arkansas that he was limited by the materials that he was given to do his self-portrait, and he could only come up with some campers had left some ashes and beer cans in the ashes, and he took the ashes and he did a self-portrait. No, put it back up there. If people don't see that, if people do not see that that's a self-portrait from a javelina pig in Arkansas that found some like, ashes in a fire pit that some
rednecks. No, I see it now. I see it.
You see it?
I saw all of it. That was really good. Okay, and the last one, number 5.
Aw, an old man fell down, and he was hanging out with the javelina pig. The javelina pig had said, "Hey man, let's paint your face with these ashes." The old man, there was some beer left in the beer cans in the fire. The old man had gotten a little bit hammered on the leftover beer and just face planted into a white sheet of paper. And that's,
I see that.
I mean, don't you?
Yeah.
I see all of that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Really, truly, Kevin, you are something else. I tell you, you have a vision. You have good vision.
It's a vision, all right.
Yeah, exactly. Kevin, I love you, and I can't thank you enough.
I'm better at that than I thought I was going to be. I thought I was going to do.
Hey, he's in England. He's drinking tea.
He's in England. Yes, you are. I have one last question for you.
Okay.
I could go at this all day. I know that we have you for a limited amount of time. And who is Bob's smirking over there? Who's your celebrity crush?
My celebrity crush. This is going to be really boring because I don't really have one. I can tell you how.
Really?
Not picking up on the signs.
You mean the
Well, okay. So I hate to bring it back to Carlene Carter again, but when I was like coming out to LA, we took a plane together, and she was super cool, and I always thought she was really pretty, and I kind of crushed on her, so I thought it was kind of cool that I had her.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was kind of cool that I had her on the webcast on Sunday, and so that was cool, But
and now she knows you like her.
Well, now that's very sweet. I think that's beautiful.
Now he's got the restraining order and everything. It's
that was Rorschach number 2.
Yeah.
Kevin Montgomery, I can't believe I had you for an entire hour and 20 minutes now, right?
Yep.
And you sung me 3 songs. Beautiful.
Yeah.
which means that's everything happens in my life for 3, so that means I will be doing another video with you.
Yes,
I'm
definitely.
excited.
We need to do that. Yeah. It was great to talk to you, and I appreciate you having me on your podcast. And,
Thank you. And I've just been made aware that we're like number 10 in
the East or the Arab Emirates. Emirates.
Number 10.
Oh, yeah.
Apple podcast. So
that's great.
Kind of cool. Only been aired for like a couple weeks. So I'm really thanking God for doing what he's doing because it's pretty cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. I think, with these things, you just want to have a good conversation, and that's why I'm enjoying doing this with you and also, being able to talk to Carlene Carter and Sonny West and Jerry Fuller, these people they have these great stories and stories need to be told. I mean, we're all isolated now. I mean, we're still in lockdown here in the UK.
I know.
And, people are isolated and I just love doing the web stream on Facebook because you can see everybody's comments and I know my friends. I don't call people my fans, but I know them, I've interacted with them so closely over the years. I know where they're at and I know what they're going through most of the time, and it's awesome to be able to connect with them in that space and for just like a couple of hours on a Sunday night, we're not alone. We're all together hanging out and I'm able to, connect with people and that's what it's about because people are so isolated. Kids are going through it hard. I mean, Bo's 15 and I've seen how he struggled through the lockdown and
it's hard.
And it's about connection. It's about the human connection. So I love what you're doing.
Well, our goal is to try to bring some peace too. There's so much propaganda out there and so many things that, like you said earlier, are negative. And you said, it's sticking with me, garbage in, garbage out. And I think we have to be mindful of what we watch and listen to. And so you just lifted our spirits here today and you're such a blessing, Kevin. And I can't thank you enough for joining us on the Coriolis Effect. Bob and I are grateful. I know Bob's was over there going, wow, that's cool, because he's a musician himself. So you are a
Bob,
blessing.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bob. Very welcome.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I need my own Bob. Bob's kind of like
everybody
your
needs a
man.
Everybody needs a Bob, let me tell you. He's technical and he's so amazing at what he does. So
I wouldn't say genius, but
I actually didn't. I didn't say genius.
I need Bob. Would you think about flying over here on Saturdays and going home on Monday?
Oh, absolutely. Don't I have to quarantine for 14 days when I land though?
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe the Queen can come pick you up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much. I love you. I really, truly do love you. You really are one of my fave people, and I'm grateful for the day that we first met. And
I love you too. And
forward to hearing
Bob,
your new.
I don't know you very well, but I can feel that I think that I love you as well.
We're going to be great friends. I'm going to be in your next video. I'm behind the camera.
I hope you're doing the lighting.
No, we got to have you in the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, if you will agree to,
I have one good side, the outside.
If you will agree to do my podcast webcast with me, fly over Saturday, go home on Monday.
Sure.
I will actually give you some screen time. I've noticed that, you're off camera.
Okay, let me just say for our
There's
audience,
a reason for that.
I actually asked for him to have a camera and he didn't want to. And I'm like, people want to see you.
Are you going to tell that story? You can tell them the right story where I said, I want to be on camera. And you said, no, this is all about me. You will never be on camera.
That's not true at all.
It's
not.
Of course it's not true.
I love sharing the screen with Bob. And
Bob's camera shy.
He's camera shy, but he's kind of like, it's like Charlie's Angel. He's like Bob's your uncle.
What's it? Howard's wife, Howard's mother.
Yeah, I mean, I asked him. I actually said, even a couple episodes ago, I said, please,
We only had 3 cameras and they all had to be on Cory.
Not true.
Why don't you have a phone? Why don't you have some object like the phone in Charlie's Angels where, Charlie spoke out of the phone? You could put like a phone or something where
I'll do a little bobblehead on the desk.
I did this.
Yeah.
I tried this, Kevin. I honestly, truly, I know, because people are like, wait, who's Bob?
Bob is very happy being behind the camera.
He's very happy, but he's wonderful. Bob's wonderful. So
Bob's on witness protection.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I told you that.
Oh my gosh. No, you didn't.
If I'm ever seen, man, they'll storm this place.
Oh God. Okay. Now that you've alerted every red flag algorithm in the social media,
Well,
world.
they don't. I don't go by my real name.
I'm sorry. I know that this is I've said a couple of bad words in the webcast and the podcast, and I'm sorry about that.
Okay, Kevin, you're so cute. He's got the driest sense of humor.
We're gonna put together a video of just Kevin's bad words.
No, we're not. Don't even worry. Listen, I always say this. We all have a mugshot. Some of them are on the cover of Time, some aren't. And
some are at the
God
post
loves
office.
us all anyway. What?
Some are at the post office.
Some are at the post. Are they? Not anymore, but Kevin, I love you.
Oh, they are.
Thank you.
They are.
Are they?
They are.
Oh yeah.
Top 10.
Oh,
yeah.
I love that.
I don't miss that.
How often do you go to the post office?
I don't.
Oh, there you go.
That's
Well,
fine.
I'll tell you how you missed it, because you're not looking for yourself to make sure you're not on there. See, I, on the other hand, every once in a while, just kind of, I check just to see if something fell through the cracks that I'm not aware of.
So you're like 11 right now? You haven't made the top 10 yet?
Yeah. Hey, don't bring up a sore subject. You know,
they catch one of those guys and you move up a number.
I'm mostly a failed musician, and now you've said I can't even be in the top 10 of the FBI's most wanted.
Did you ever hear Jerry Seinfeld's joke about that? When you're at the post office, you see them, and he's like, "Why don't they just grab him when they're taking his picture?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Kevin.
Yes. Oh no. It took a second, but I got it. You know what? No.
You're not a failed musician, though. I'm going to rebuke those words in Jesus'
No, you're a very good musician.
No,
you're an amazing, incredible musician. And
you've done 2 videos with Cory Oliver. Come on.
No, I mean, his songs, you have to listen to them. My favorite is Fear Nothing. I guess I just have an emotional connection to that whole record, because after I did the video with you, I played it in my car like over and over, and I had to crash, of course. And over and over and over, I was like, oh gosh, I just did a video with Kevin Montgomery. Oh my gosh, Kevin Montgomery. It was like a big deal for me. So
was that your first job? No, in Hollywood?
It wasn't my first. Disneyland was my first commercial, but it was like close to, it was my first music video. But do you know the other person in the video, like one of the other girls? Emily.
Do you know who that was?
Yes.
Emily Proctor.
Yes, Emily Proctor.
You should have her on your podcast.
I know, I should. That's so funny.
Look,
you're right.
Reach out to her and just say, because we're friends. I mean, I don't speak to her. I haven't spoken to her in years, but
she was on CSI.
Miami CSI. I can see if I can get in touch with her for you, because I have a friend that went to college with her, that is friendly with her, and
what is she doing now?
I don't know, but it would be a great interview, because you guys have that connection, because you were, she was one of the other girls, and the other young lady that was in the video, she's one of my Facebook friends. She lives in North Carolina, and we talk on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, that was
we'll
cool.
get all 3 in one room,
and that it was really cool. It was fun. It was a good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll do that. But I have Kevin Montgomery today, so that's
so we got that. I'm excited about that now, and since I'm your agent, I'm going to start working on that, because that would be a great thing for you to talk to Emily, because you have so much in common.
Emily Proctor, and that was her. If you're listening, we'd love to have you on the show.
That was her first job. So for those of y'all that are listening that don't know who Emily Proctor is, she was
went on to be very successful. She's
Miami CSI. She was the
beautiful blonde.
Beautiful blonde. I was trying to figure out a way to say that.
I did for you.
Yeah. I was going to say platinum,
all of those
blonde.
shows, all the FBI agents, the CSI people, they're all beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to think if you go downtown LA, they're really not like that.
You don't mean
No, not always.
I just want to thank our guest today, Kevin Montgomery, on the Coriolis Effect. We are so grateful to have you in studio. Lifelong friend, musician, and father. You're just incredible. And I can't thank you enough for taking the time today. We love you.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
And we're out.
Hi guys, I'm Cory Oliver, and thank you for watching the Coriolis Effect. We hope you enjoyed the previous episode. Here are some more episodes you might enjoy. Hit the subscribe button below, and have a great day.